What is up, everybody? In this video, we're going to be no-hitting Elden Ring with the Blasphemous Blade. Really does make it hard to see when you use that Ash of War, huh? This Greatsword is straight up one of the best weapons in the game, even after its nerf. It has a great moveset with a ton of damage and poise break, and the Ash of War is god tier, outputting insane damage with a gigantic heal all in one. Routing-wise, this is a great choice for a no-hit run because you get the weapon from Rykard, who is an easy Great Rune for capital access, and you also get the Somber 7 and Assassin's Gambit in Volcano Manor. But before we get into that, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Raycon. Mother's Day is coming up soon, and Raycon's bone conduction headphones are the perfect gift. These things are really cool. They use off-ear audio, sending sound through vibrations in your bones. These headphones sit just outside of the ears, so if your mom likes listening to podcasts, music, or audiobooks, she can do so with great sound quality while also hearing what's happening around her. Safety and sound all in one. They're awesome for working out at the gym, going on walks, and just doing general chores around the house. It gives me a great sense of security when I can listen to music and still hear when my cats decide that they want to get into trouble. These headphones are built for all-day use. They're waterproof, dustproof, and have 13 hours of battery life, so they're perfect for pretty much anything. Plus, they have a no-bud fit that doesn't slip, which gives you maximum comfort while you move. Raycon gives you premium performance, but without the premium price tag. Their quality rivals the big audio brands, but at half the cost. Plus, over 3 million customers already love Raycon, and they come with a 30-day happiness guarantee. The bone conduction headphones are the perfect Mother's Day gift, and honestly, you might want to grab a pair for yourself. Go to buyraycon.com/GinoMachinoBC to get 15% off. Thanks again to Raycon for sponsoring today's video. And now, back to the run. The most amount of resets for a run so far, it has been 4. That was only the second reset, but when each one is like an hour and a half, 2 hours in, it's just so much time. I can't believe that, dude. Like, I shouldn't have gone for it, I guess. But it was safe. It just, I couldn't see. I couldn't see what he was doing. I mean, it wasn't even good damage on that punish either. It really wasn't even good damage. It wasn't worth it, dude. Obviously, it wasn't worth it.
Oh, I at least. My thanks.
Imagine if I was doing all great runes too. Like, those ones are even fucking worse. Because at least this one, you know, this is like a 2-hour, maybe 30-minute run, maybe a bit less.
Wait.
All great runes are pretty much 4 hours.
Humans all lose their. How could this? Was my whole existence just?
Another thing is too, like the DS1 run or the DS3. You know, it's kind of fine to spend a day on that because we're not like resetting it constantly. It's
take my hand. I will pray.
It's, you know, we're routing it for the most part, and then, you know, we get it fairly quick. But this one's it's only been 2 hits so far, but each hit has been over an hour and a half, which is real bad.
And now you build the drawing room, but be sure.
This actually, this might be the cursed run that we've been waiting for this whole time. It's supposed to be a 2-3 ratio for strength to dex. If, like, when I tested it out, going to like 40 dex and 60, or sorry, 40 strength and 60 dex was actually worse. So, don't know. I mean, it could be in the early game, maybe, but it doesn't really make a difference because we get to such a high level immediately anyways. So we're killing Rykard, and I'm going to kill the Bellbearing Hunter as well. So and even if it's like maybe slightly more optimal to level more strength early, it's just not enough difference to matter. That makes sense. Yeah, very big difference between 2 resets when you get hit in early game versus 2 resets when you get hit after any percent's already done. Yeah, honestly, it just, I didn't know, like, it's just a bad combo. Because I didn't know that he was going to input read, try to poke that, and then it also, yeah, I couldn't see what he was doing, and it looked like When I saw his halberd go in the air, I thought he was doing the spin thing that he always does when the summons goes away. When the summons die. That's certainly what it looked like. I'm trying to think, when I did run requests before, did I ever have any... Like, I don't think I ever did any sort of past any % run, did I? I was smarter back then. Well, except not really, because back then is when I made the request channel point stuff. Yeah, when I did that, the kind of initial run request challenge, I don't think I did anything past any %, and I was smart for it. I was smart, dude. Yeah, luckily, it sounds like there are only 4 more past any % run requests to go.
I am an
So.
old so perhaps.
If I get hit past any % refund. No, I'm doing that for all remembrances, because all remembrances I'm definitely not doing. Although maybe I should have. But no, we've already finished most of the all great runes anyways. Yeah, we've done... I think this is at least the 4th Greatsword run. Maybe more. And honestly, they all look kind of similar. So all the ones that we've used at least have the same moveset. Like, exact same moveset. It's just... This one's got a different Ash of War. Like, Alabaster has the stamina thing, but it's the exact same moveset as well. Oh god. Except run request until a certain boss. I mean, I don't think it needs to be that complicated. I just think we do runs where if we get past any %, then, you know, we don't... Like, the run's done, but then I just continue until I get hit. I think that's the best way to do it. So that's 2, I think. That's the best way for sure. That's 3. One more. Did I do that like way too early? Or is it still fine? Oh, really? Well, clearly I'm not dead. This is the real cursed run. If a lava pool spawns below me, this is real cursed run. Yeah, basically I have done no spear runs. The only spear run that I've done is actually just a run that I wanted to do, which was Ice Spear. Like, I was just interested in testing it out. That was the only spear run I've done. Yeah, surely I requested Spike Spear.
The finger.
Okay, I have to go get some stuff first. Or I have to upgrade. Now, Greatswords aren't overrated, dude. It's just... No, they're all... Like, most of them are just very good. You know, at least with Blasphemous, it's got an Ash of War that's worth using. But even still, for no hit, it's more about using the R2, because that's just the best setup. Okay. For the Greatsword runs? Well, so yeah, I've done a lot of Greatsword no-hit runs just overall. During this marathon, though, I've done Alabaster, Gargoyle Blackblade, and the Bastard Sword. Overall, yeah, I've also done Dark Moon. I haven't done Claymore. I've done the Ordovis Greatsword. Like, I've done so many Greatsword no-hit runs, dude. I think finally, once we're done with this one, there are no more Greatswords, though. Like, I've definitely seen enough of Greatswords for a while. I don't even need to do that Greatsword only run at this point, because we've already done so many. We've already used them all for no hit. No curved Greatsword. The Great Katana was... So the DLC weapons, none of them were in the game while the run requests were open. Because the run requests have been closed for over 2 years, so before the DLC came out. So yeah, basically no DLC weapons, although we have done 2 DLC runs because people have changed their request. We did Carrying Retaliation, and we have done Milady. I think that's it. Dude, insane terrain here. Wait, so I am or I am not allowed to use Ox on Gideon? Which one is it? I should have gone to go get stealth by now. I guess right there I should have gotten it. Like, I probably just run through that part with stealth, but... Well, I'll consider it. I'll consider. Get faith tier yet. Never gets me through this run with my sanity attack. Well, it's not this run we're talking about, but get through the marathon. That would be nice. But what boss causes resets the most? There's not really a boss that does. It just, I take random hits to things sometimes, I guess. Pretty much what it is. Just random hits. Is that it? That's stealth. We have faith tier. 30 minutes fast for a consort master run kill. How much blessing are you at? Like, what is that? Like, is master run 0 blessing or not?
Well, thou art of passing skill. Warrior
I'm
blood
mid-roller.
must truly run in thy veins. Tarnished.
I honestly have no idea if that's fast or not. The longest consort kill I did was with Fire Knight Greatsword, which is not an optimal weapon for it at all. It's just, that's what I was practicing with at the time. And it was like 38 minutes or something. With blessing though. Like I was like level, I don't know, 16 blessing or something like that. I mean, it sounds about right. I believe we have 16 requests left, something like that.
Come over here, would you?
The concert sounds not very fun. Yeah. Well, I was just practicing him. So.
What's it to you?
And that was before he got nerfed as well. So that was with like the scuffed frame trap move. But yeah, I was just learning the boss and I was like, oh, I guess I'll just simply record one. Most fun DLC boss is definitely Rolana, I would say. A frame trap is when... Basically, if you come out of an animation, you're immediately caught by the next attack. And there's just like, there's nothing you can do about it. So in the case with Consort, the way that attack used to work, if you were in front of him, if you weren't in the perfect position... I didn't throw that at the best spot. If you weren't in the perfect spot... When he did his like cross slash attack, you would roll the first one and then get hit by the second sword. And it's a frame trap, right? Because if you delay your roll, you get hit by the first sword. And yeah, so that's the problem with him. And they did change it though. Acknowledged how bad of an attack it was. But yeah, that's what a frame trap is. And another example would be like if you're coming out of the fog gate and an enemy hits you immediately when you're trying to spam roll, like that's also a frame trap. How do I feel about game developers making their game easier based on feedback? I don't really know, to be honest. Not sure. I think it's not a good sign, though. Changes the difficulty of their game based on feedback. I think it's just not a good sign. Because something went wrong. Either in developing the game, they didn't balance it correctly. Or... yeah, they just... or, I don't know. They didn't execute on their vision properly or something, you know? Or, yeah, I guess, or they did and they kind of just caved, is what I was trying to say. So, because it's tough. I mean, when you're making a game that's hard, I think it seems like especially with Souls-like games, but I'm sure it's with other games as well. When you make a game hard and people complain about it, like it's very easy to just go like, okay, fine, it's too hard. We need to change it. And kind of cave in. But if it's exactly as the developer intends to, or the difficulty is exactly what the developer intends, then they should just leave it. But yeah, it's either one of those two things. Either it actually is not balanced correctly, or they cave. I think in the case with Elden Ring, though, the things that they did change were good changes for the most part. I mean, Consort cross attack was absolute garbage. When I was fighting him the first time and just getting hit by that attack every time he did it, so unsatisfying to fight. Did I get it? Oh, that sucks, dude. I really tried. It's a little bit late.
I am the Lord.
Little late.
Of all that is golden. And one day...
The first time it happened, all DS2... How's it going, Stowe, by the way? All of DS2's early game got nerfed. ROM Mikolash far worse on base patch. Yeah. Yeah, I just... I don't really have a strong opinion on like nerfs in games that people say are too hard. Because it totally depends on the context. Yeah, I do think... I do agree with that. I definitely think it's not easy to balance a game like this. I think it's extremely difficult. I was saying the other day how easy it is to make a game way too hard. As a developer, especially one that, you know what game you made, you know, if you're making like some small indie game by yourself or with a couple people, then you're really going to know all of the ins and outs of the game. So if you're the one, if you're play testing a boss and you're, designing moves to be dodged and you have ideas of how to deal with stuff, you got to keep in mind that players will not know that. Like, players will have to figure that out. So how realistic is it to actually figure out how to deal with the thing that you're making? In this game, I really think they missed the mark on that a couple times. Whoa. And I also just think their testing wasn't robust enough in this game at all. That's why there's so many garbage interactions with bosses and stuff. It makes sense though. This game is massive. It makes sense, but I think that's why we have stuff like Fire Breath Deflection and the Borealis Breath bug and, you know, maybe Waterfowl too, I guess. Maybe, but not sure about that one. I mean, yeah, stealth working on every boss pretty much is pretty insane. Not every attack needs to be avoidable, right? Which I think is true. Like, objectively, that is absolutely true. But there's no problem making a game where you have to tank hits on certain things. But what makes Souls bosses good is that they're fair and you can deal with things, generally. At least the good Souls bosses. So, yeah, generally when bosses have attacks that can't be avoided with at least dodging or positional or somehow, generally people really hate that and do not like those attacks. Cross attack is the obvious example, right? That's why they had to nerf it, because people just fucking hated it so much. And not everyone wants to go into a boss and be forced to block or, you know, whatever, right? People don't really want to do that. You don't want to be forced into one playstyle because of some garbage attack. And one of the great things about the game is that you do have numerous playstyles. And that generally isn't the case where you're forced to do something, but... So yeah, while I do agree that bosses don't necessarily need to be made with no hit in mind, the good ones are. There's a method to avoid Ender's Laser without Ashe Warrior ever figured out. Yeah, you simply just stay super far away from the boss the whole fight. That's it. And that's another thing. Like, it sucks to be forced into a playstyle because of one attack. Or something like that. Or any attack that forces you to go into one type of build or whatever. It's just not as fun in a game like this. It kind of excels off of variety and being able to fight bosses in different ways, all that kind of thing. A lot of people complained that Rolando was over the top too. I also agree with that, to be honest. She's my favorite boss in the DLC. Whoops. She's my favorite boss in the DLC, but I also think she's over the top, probably. You may have noticed a common theme that I think a lot of bosses in this game are over the top. And she is also one of them. Millennia is one of them. I genuinely would prefer that they go back to kind of the simpler boss design of Dark Souls 3. Or maybe there's just a happy medium to be found there. Where you just have good, solid bosses that are satisfying to figure out, that don't have a 300-hit Star Wars combo or, you know, like some fucking mega laser attack that just hits you no matter what. Unless you run, like, unless you're staying far away the entire fight or, you know, stuff like that. You know, bosses don't need to have that. Because surely killing Radahn early is breaking our bad luck. Like, I genuinely think for Souls games, simple can be very good sometimes. Like, simple can be better. It's not that I don't enjoy fighting the complicated bosses, but I just think overall it's better for everyone when bosses are kind of more reasonably balanced. But yeah, that being said, Millennia is still my favorite boss to fight in the game, probably, and I think she's over the top. But like, just a little bit. Just like a little bit with Waterfowl. I mean, if there wasn't Waterfowl, then it would be perfectly fine, I think, but... Yeah, do I, you know, in the next Souls game, do I think that they're gonna go back to kind of a simpler boss and not try to ramp up the bosses even more with kind of bullshit? I absolutely think they're gonna keep going further, dude. That's what I already thought with the DLC. When I first played the base game and I fought some of the boss, I'm like, okay, you know, some of these bosses are over the top. I really hope they don't do that for the DLC. Like, I hope they don't go further than this. They did. The next Souls game that comes out, dude, I don't even know what it's gonna look like. Because, yeah, people are even saying that a boss like Midra is like way too easy, and which I do think he's one of the easier bosses. We were talking about it yesterday, how he's one of the simpler DLC bosses and stuff. But like, if people are saying that's way too easy, like, okay, we need more lights, we need more. Like, we need more fire deflection. We need more of everything, dude. Simply more explosions, all of it, which kind of scares me. Like spacing back, please. I also 100% agree with that, too. I think regardless, the next Souls game is going to be good, but I'm concerned with the boss direction a little. Because I can't see how they could go back. But they're not, I mean, yeah, most of the Shadow of the Erdtree bosses they're not too far beyond what I think is fine. Just like a little bit. Like maybe they have 1 or 2 attacks that are just a little over the top. Bale and Rolana and like maybe Mesmer doesn't really. But Romina's got the fucking instant AoE. Consort, of course, is the absolute light show. Yeah, Metter Laser. Like so that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of the bosses for the most part are fine, but then you just have 1 or 2 things that. Yeah, and Consort's got lights on every fucking swing he does. Like, it's pretty insane, dude. Every swing, light beams. It's pretty crazy. I remember that one of the first thoughts I had fighting Consort was that this feels like a modded boss. I'm sure it's in the video, the DLC first playthrough video, if Hunter included that, or if you go watch the streams from it. This feels like it's from kind of a shitty mod. Or one of those mods that are just trying to, kind of needlessly complicate bosses. That's kind of what it felt like. But there are just some small things on some of the bosses that I'm concerned about going into the next one. And I would much rather just nice, simple, clean fights. Don't have any BS. Even if they are, some people might see them as too easy. I think that's probably the right balance still. And ultimately, the games should be balanced for a first playthrough. I don't believe that they should make bosses for players like me who spend 100 hours on a boss type thing. Boss like Millennia or whatever. Because Millennia is great for doing what I do, and she's super fun to fight, but I don't think that's what they should be aiming for the most part. And then if you look at some of the good DS3 bosses, I think they just nailed the difficulty of some of those, man. But I was talking about also yesterday how I'd be very curious to see how people who only played Elden Ring and Shadow of the Erdtree, if you went back and played DS3, what would that look like? Would you go to a boss like, such as Gale, and then be like, man, this guy is way too easy? Is that what would happen? I don't know. Would they think that it's underwhelming because he doesn't have all this light show going on? I mean, he does have lightning, but it's nothing compared to what Shadow of the Erdtree bosses look like in terms of visual clutter. So would they be disappointed by that or not? It'd be interesting to see. I don't think the Greatsword R2 is fast enough to get a strafe off there, but not sure. Yeah, and I guess some Bloodborne bosses as well, right? When people go back and fight Orphan, are they... I mean, it's a bit of a different game. The dashes being slightly different and stuff, but when people go back and fight Orphan, are they like, man, this is just too simple? I doubt it with Bloodborne. There's no way. I mean, if you compare Orphan to the Consort in terms of just how they look visually, Orphan is extremely tame. Okay, I'm gonna go get stamina. I think one of the thing is with Bloodborne 2 though is that you get punished so hard for not dodging things correctly. Oh, I guess I already have Stone Sword. Right? If you get hit by Orphan on a bad dodge, you are getting smoked by him. Then I wonder a boss like Midir though. Because Midir is the boss in DS3 that maybe hits the hardest, which is one of the main determiners of difficulty of a boss in a Souls game, which makes a lot of sense. Of course, when you get hit and it deals half your health, that will simply make the boss harder than if it does a quarter of your health, obviously. But I wonder what people would think of Midir, or is it just too simple because you already kind of have the dragon formula figured out? I would be very interested in seeing people play PS3 DLC after Elden Ring DLC and see what kind of experience they would have. There's no doubt though as well, your second Souls game that you play will be much easier than the first because you learn how to learn stuff. And so for me at this point, if they, you know, if there's another Souls game that comes out and it's got a dragon boss in it, I'm pretty much going to know it's like, okay, you're going to probably want to hit the head. You know, I'll have the kind of formula set out already for what I need to do. But on your first Souls game, you have no idea what's going on. Talking only moveset, which one do I think is the most complex boss in Elden Ring? I think probably, I mean, it's Rolana or Millennia, probably, I would say. I would tend to go more Rolana because the thing with Millennia is that she just has the waterfowl. If she didn't have waterfowl, the fight would look so much different because of the spacing you would need to be at and all that stuff. Yeah, arguably Morgott as well. It's not that I think Millennia would be easy if she didn't have waterfowl, but it's such a big part of the fight. The entire fight pretty much revolves around waterfowl. Whereas Rolana doesn't really have a move like that, but her swings are just harder to deal with. They have more range. They're quicker, maybe. Bigger combos, although they both combo forever, potentially. So... really does make it hard to see when you use that Ash of War, huh?
Thy part in this shall not be forgiven.
Really makes it tough to see. Because that's what I lost the last run to, pretty much, is that I did the Ash of War on Nile, and I didn't see that he was input reading it. I got smoked. You went to play Dark Souls 3 DLC after Elden Ring DLC. You fought Gale and thought, how did people find this tough? Yeah, I mean, I guess... So that is true then, huh? Like, so how many tries did it take you to kill Gale then? Is it that... The thing is, again, the second time you play Souls game, the second Souls game you play will be easier. There's no question about that. Because you know, you'll probably understand how to level up stats properly, like getting tons of health right away, stuff like that. But
it seems torrent.
Like, is it that you first tried him, or is it that you ended up taking so many attempts on Elden Ring bosses that, you know, only 5 attempts on Gale seems like it's not a lot or something like that? Which one would you say? Deer took 6 tries. Because I just, there's simply not an option of making bosses more in the Shadow of the Erdtree direction, I think. They need to change the way we can dodge stuff, or like it needs to be not a change with the bosses, but with, I mean, it would change the boss as well, I guess, but the player character's abilities need to change more than just jump, I think. That's really the only way I could see it working. So you give the player more abilities to deal with stuff. And I don't just mean like Ash of War that you might not find or whatever, like a fundamental character ability, core mechanic, like jump, like dodge roll, stuff like that. And then if you do that, then you can make bosses have things that are meant to be evaded by doing that other skill, pretty much, I guess, right? Because if the player can only still do the same things and you got Bale doing fire deflect plus insane laser plus, you know, all this other crazy stuff, it's not going to be good, as we've seen. And if not, then I don't think they can really make the bosses more, I don't really know what the word exactly I'm looking for is. It's because it's not really more complicated is part of it. It's not the whole thing. It's the overall, the visual clutter plus the complexity of the moveset plus like all the other factors as well. I hope the netcode is still Dr. for Code Vein. I don't even remember online in first Code Vein, but just Night Rain like cinema bosses, but make them way more complex for next Elden Ring. Yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't think they should do that, but I think they will. Yeah, the boss has to hit 100 times before you get 1 punish for the next Souls game. Like, that's the difficulty we need, surely. You're not allowed, you're just straight up not allowed to attack the boss anymore. Yeah, Erlang is like, I don't know, maybe I overrate him. I'm not sure. I would need to learn him better still. Erlang's one of the best bosses I think I've ever fought. And that just hits the mark perfectly, I think, for how a super boss kind of should be. Nothing felt unfair in any way. It was just simply learn and then win the boss, dude. And it was so much fun to learn the fight. Very satisfying, but extremely difficult just because he has so many moves. So maybe that's what they do. Like, maybe that's the right direction. Just give the boss so many attacks. Instead of making crazier attacks, just give more attacks. Right? Like Soul of Cinder. I mean, that's why Soul of Cinder is so much fun, I think, because at least for Dark Souls 3, he has a shit ton of attacks. It's not really that any particular attack is hard to deal with. It's just he's got so many of them. And it's funny watching people on their first playthrough fight Cinder because they get hit by so many things. Because he's just swinging at you and it looks like he's just randomly doing stuff. But the only thing is he deals such little damage, and you have, you would normally have so much health and so many heals by that point in the game that he's pretty easy. But his actual moveset is very tough for Dark Souls 3. So maybe that's the way to do it, dude. Simply more moves. That's surely it. That surely has to be it. I don't know why I've never really thought of that somehow, but yeah, when someone brought up Erlang, I just started thinking like, oh, why is this guy so fun to fight? And so satisfying to fight on the first playthrough, and then I'll see when I learn him properly eventually, but because he's just, all of his moves are fair, but you can figure them out, and there are just so many of them. That's it, dude. That's the solution right there. Not a fan of boss having 32 conditional follow-ups. Yeah, that's fair, but I think that's a way better direction to make bosses feel harder than to go with the garbage that this game does. With Meta Laser and... oh boy. Here we go. Like, yeah, I think it's a way better direction. I was actually really close in real life. We got the exact same RNG last time on him. Actual exact same RNG. Yeah, that's definitely the way to do it, dude. I 100% agree, Arm. Yeah, I think that's very satisfying. Millennia has something like that. Because what's kind of satisfying about it is that when you start fighting the boss a lot, at least this happens to me, you subconsciously recognize it, but you actually don't know what you're seeing. So with Millennia, I remember when people were first learning her, and I did some like pretty long kill with her, and they're like, how can you tell the difference between the slow follow-up on the flurry versus the fast one? It's like, I actually have no idea. I just know when it's gonna happen. And it was, it turns out to be that she dashes at you differently. I agree. I think that's pretty nice when bosses do stuff like that. Probably fine, right? So follow-up is slower? Yeah, but that's not... Or what do you mean? The dash is slower or the actual follow-up itself? Because obviously the slow follow-up is slower. 50 hours on Millennia, no clue what I'm talking about. That's just not true. There's no way you could have that much time on her. Not know what I'm saying. It's the... When she does the, like, dash into flurry combo... You know what I mean? Like where she swings the sword like 4 times or something and then does the swipe after, the horizontal swipe. She has a fast and a slow follow-up to it. The fast one will get more follow-ups generally. The slow one is a charged R2 punish with almost every weapon. And so with slower weapons, you want to space that slow one properly and get a charged R2 off. And so when I was first practicing Millennia and it was very early in the game's release, I was doing that. And I remember a bunch of people asking me how I could tell when she was doing each one. So that was just an example of what Arm was talking about. One's a punish, one's not. At least for a charged R2. Yeah, you can know which one she's doing based on how she moves at you. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Anyways, yeah, that's what I think. I've just realized that now, is that I think the direction for bosses is more moves. Simply more moves. It's very simple. I don't know why I've just never thought of that. I guess I've never really tried to think of a solution. All I've done is be a doomer and just think of how the next Souls game bosses are going to be even shittier, probably. But if you're good enough, I want all moves to be readable first time. That is not how Souls games work at all. Like, so you're saying each attack should just be simply reactable and that's it? Because basically, if that's the case, then every attack is just, you know, as soon as you see them do something, you're able to roll and that's it. And I don't know. That doesn't I don't think that would make a very good boss, to be honest. Like, you should have to learn their combos and learn their timings on certain delayed attacks versus, you know, certain fast attacks that maybe are unreactable the first time, but, you know, it happens consistently after a combo type thing. So you simply learn that it's there, and it's like, oh yeah, so after this attack I need to roll because
And I can also that you're not then why I am
they have this super fast follow-up that I can't react to. You know, stuff like that is what I think is better. Yeah, I mean, frame traps are a no-brainer to not have, but they can be okay depending on the way to avoid it. If there's a fairly intuitive way to avoid a frame trap, then that's fine. Like, okay, so this attack here, you know, if I'm in this position, I can't dodge it. So now all I need to do is be in this other position or something, and now I can dodge it, as long as it's reasonable. Because Consort was like that, but it was just completely unreasonable. But if it's reasonable, then it's fine. But yeah, for the most part, I think frame traps are pretty unsatisfying to deal with. Not a big fan of them. I can't get another charged R2 off there, right? I don't think so. If I can, though, that'd be one cycle here. Hunter felt like every move was a frame trap. You're 100% right, because yeah, he does have the one cross attack, or he did. That was a guaranteed frame trap, but then, you know, he also has all the lights in phase 2, so you get, you know, you dodge, but if you don't dodge behind him, or I guess away from him either, then you're just gonna get hit by the lights. Pillars. So yeah, you're certainly not wrong. Golden Vow animation take. I just held it for a second there. I think it's mostly for when you're doing like online or something, you can kind of wait until people get in the circle or whatever. Also enables some skips to be possible. Stream surely pre-recorded loop. Man, I wish it was. I wish I was not doing this run right now. Well, it's not. No, it's not that it's not a fun run. It's just that I wish I had already gotten it. I was just, I don't know. I don't have patience to learn to dodge Consort when you're behind him and he starts an attack without rotating. Well, you know what? At least it's not as bad anymore. Because it used to be where it was like that. You had to be basically behind him at all times, and if you weren't, you could get hit by the cross attack, and the Miquella's hair would be it's still in the way. And yeah, you would have to react very quickly when he does cross attack. Luckily, it's not as bad anymore. You can stay kind of more in front, but you're still wanting to be off to the side though, which I don't really like. I mean, the entire fight is just you're sitting off to the side, rolling around him clockwise, and just dodging the swings. That's literally the whole fight. Except for a couple of his clone moves, which are kind of a little annoying, and the, like, meteorite move. Not exactly the most fun boss design. Definitely better now, though, at least. Yeah, I guess parrying. Yeah, you could have parried the cross attack as well. I don't know if that's not really... are there any brands that are, like, super luxury but just shit? Because that's what it is. Teemu's definitely not the luxury type thing to order from or whatever, but that's more what it would be like. Imagine if Miquella had his bow in Consort Phase 2. Wait, the bow? I don't know. There's probably some lore thing that I don't know about, I guess. That's what you're talking about, because I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what that means. Oh, Radan's arrow rain. Oh, I see what you're saying. I mean, why not, though? Like, why not at that point?
Approach
approacheth. Destined death.
Go ahead, like spam rain of arrows on me.
Not have it
Not gonna change anything at this point.
from me again.
Oof, almost got stuck on his arm there, I feel like. Surely you must stun here.
Witness tarnished. Wake of destined death.
Like when the fight feels fair, no BS moves, visual clarity. I think that's pretty much most people. I won't say that that's everyone, because there definitely are some people that simply like bosses being just like straight up hard and that's it. Like unfair hard. I mean, simply look to the amount of people that were upset by Consort's cross attack being nerfed, right? Don't like reaction checks. I'm fine with them to a certain degree, but you're talking about an attack like Noble Presence kind of thing, right? I don't know, you should be pushed to react quickly in some boss fights, absolutely, but I don't think it should be anything crazy. I mean, is Noble Presence too much? I kind of don't think so, but I don't think Noble Presence is too fast, but maybe it is. I don't know. Raging because dog shit attack got nerfed? Yeah, there is. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's only just that people actually like just bosses being straight up hard and that's it. I think there are some people that are upset that other people don't have to deal with the same level of difficulty that they did. I think that's got to be part of it, but I do think there are people who just genuinely think it was bad to nerf Consort's cross attack because it makes the boss easier. And they just want bosses to be hard for the sake of being hard. That's it. People acting like it's a trophy to kill Star Scourge Radan before he got nerfed when the fight was like basically the exact same. Watching Quinn fighting Consort last week with 230 deaths, chat nonstop making fun because you only beat post nerf. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really get that, to be honest. I mean, I guess I get memeing about that, but to genuinely be upset that a boss got nerfed simply because it made them less hard, but made them just a... Well, I mean, for them, it wouldn't make the boss better because it makes them easier. Difficulty equals quality, or like how good the boss is, so... I don't know. Doesn't matter. I was like, wait, a lot of... I'm gonna miss that message. Can someone repost that? Saying Reddit tier post. Sounds like a lot of code for the fact stuck at Elden Ring. If pre-nerf Radan made you change build, that's a you problem. Is this Consort or is this... Oh, no, okay, this is Consort. Those of us that were actually skilled at the game prefer bosses that are a decent challenge and not a joke. Like, like the difficulty that other DLC bosses were. Is that real or is that made up? It must be. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say it must be made up. Feels like that's something that someone just wrote as a meme, but... I really don't know at this point. It's real. Classic, dude. I think I can roll that in time. I feel like it's really close. Or I can strafe it in time, I mean. Just quite close. The Greatsword. If I do the rolling attack, and I kind of like doing the roll attack because it loves to not follow up. I'd rather just upkeep the poise damage on him. Just trying to go for the double hit there. Ah, just have no stand, dude. I'm gonna go R2s on Radagon this time. And just go stamina. Sure. Yeah, Horlu is good difficulty. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's a fun fight. I just want to go R2s this time so I could set up a stun here. I should get, I think. I shouldn't have done that follow-up. God damn it, dude. Maybe it's fine. I should, yeah, I think I had time last time. It's all good. Oh yeah, plenty of time. Oh, that was fucking close. Got one less attack off, though. What kind of meme is that? How did that miss him, bro? Oh my lord. Okay. Really another Elden Star's Greed. How on earth did that miss? No, I mean, I've never blown out of Elden Beast anyways, but it's just, it's insane that that missed. We've had much worse Elden Beasts than that one. I mean, I literally did a coated sword run, so can't get much worse than that. Okay, what do I do here? I think I'm still gonna go with the same strat. Like it works well, but I just need to be. I need to not go for an extra Taker Flame on Nile before I know what he's doing. Simply, I feel like this time we were faster because you know what? I took a break last time, or was it this time I did? I don't know. That fucking input read again. Yeah, see, look at that, dude. Look at the Q on that. Like, that's what I'm talking about, dude. That's what I got hit by. No way, did I skip? Oh my lord, you're kidding me. It's just the Frost Stomp that is the scary attack here. Tons of active frames on that one. I just need to not use the Ash of War on him because it totally just skipped his spinny thing that he likes to do. I just need to simply not do it. Like, this weapon certainly isn't bad for this guy, but when you can't get the spin attack, the fight is totally changed. Now's the type of boss that the iframe talisman would be just excellent against. Like, it would kind of change the fight a lot because that frost attack becomes more reasonable to dodge. Yeah, surely get both medals at the same time. I mean, there's just no reason for me to run to whatever the guy's name is. Like, it's completely safe and it just takes extra time. Gonna buy Switch 2 for Dustbloods? Well, I kind of thought I was, but I'm honestly not sure anymore. The game sounds so uninteresting to me that I just don't know. I'll have to see more about it before I buy. Or before I spend like $600 on a single game. I think the general rule is that you should absolutely never, under any circumstances, buy a console for one game. You should never do it. I don't care what game it is. I don't care if it's Bloodborne or whatever. Never do that. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's different for me a little bit, but still, that still should be the rule. They should never buy. I mean, it's not like I play every FromSoft game that comes out. I never played any Armored Core game. So it's not like I just automatically play it because it's FromSoft. But that's what I'm saying. I'll have to see what kind of game it's like first. I'll need to see it. If it looks like it's fun, then maybe. Maybe. Why has this been happening? I've never noticed this before. Maybe it's got to be further down. Yeah, maybe that's what I've been messing up. I just haven't been throwing the knife far enough. Are the Albinorc archers bottom 10 enemy in the game? Nah, I wouldn't say so. I don't know. I've never thought about it. I think the bottom 10 enemies in the game are probably all in the DLC, I'm guessing. The laser guys, the fucking pillar guys, the like frost mega divine beast warrior guy. Yeah, the grave birds. I mean, maybe the frost guy is not bottom 10, but he's so like unfair to fight when he just cross cloaks and just sprints at you and you just can't do anything. Extremely unfair. The other ones are much better, I think, because they don't have that bullshit, but he does. Oh yeah, the DLC catacomb casters, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that probably most of the worst enemies are DLC ones, but there's definitely some bad base game ones. Yeah, birds are annoying. Yeah, the Albinorc archers are pretty annoying too, but I don't know if it's quite... Because it's more than just the enemy itself, it's about how they're placed in the actual game. How do you dodge the two Spire Spammers? You simply don't. You simply have to stealth. Or kill them before you trigger them. Unless you're Nico Bellic, then you just run. I mean, honestly, I think you could almost look at a randomizer run and then go, well, what is happening with the shadows here, bro? And just go, okay, what are the enemies that are the most annoying? And that'll give you a pretty good list. I think the shadows like that because the like day state was changing or something. And yeah, a lot of the DLC enemies show up in that, I would say. But like I said earlier, it does depend where they are in the game. Especially for mages, then, you know, if they show up, you just can't reach them and they're spamming the spiral spell at you, then it's like, holy shit, this sucks, man. But if they're just sitting there in a randomizer, you just go and kill them, and it's like, oh, that was pretty easy. Spam meta. Yeah, this run is included Rykard because that's where we get the weapon from. Most all Great Runes runs I do for Run Quest don't include him, though. This one does. You know who's... the hands are definitely one of the worst enemies in the game, just overall. And I don't even mean just fighting them is bad. The design of them is terrible. Like, they're just a horrible enemy. Especially the huge ones. The fact that they decided that they needed 5 iterations of hands and they just keep making them bigger is insane. And so by the time you're fighting the biggest one that they simply just, you know, multiplied the size by, the fight is so scuffed. It's unreal how bad it is. Surely eventually they'll realize that, you know, designing an enemy and then simply just scaling it up is not a good idea. I'm looking at Hippo as well when I say that. It doesn't work. X-Ikes, Hippo, Mega Giant Hand, they're all terrible. And it's because of their size, at least part of the reason. Because X-Ikes is just such a pain in the ass to fight because he's so big. I mean, if you have range, it's okay, but if you're trying to do melee on him, it's like, oh, I can't hit the head because it's so high in the air. And then Hippo, the lock-on's all fucked up. The riposte is all fucked up on him. And his moves, like, he just moves at you in a weird way because he's too big. Pretty much. At least I think. I think that's the case. I think they don't care. Well, they probably shouldn't anyways, because overall the effect on their game is very small, so... What am I doing here? They probably shouldn't care. And ultimately, they're the ones who made a game that made, like, billions of dollars. And is one of the games that people probably consider to be one of the better games ever made, so... They're probably right to not care that much. The Urtree player ratings got bombed. It was 80% during release. What is it now? Honestly, they were cooking, though. The people that said it was too hard, they were kind of cooking. I am not going to lie. Because, yeah, the point at which they probably realized it was too hard is when they got to Rolana at Blessing level 3, and they just got totally decimated, dude. That's probably the point at which they're like, okay, this is dumb. And I don't disagree with them. Because I'm sure a vast majority of the players, they went to Castle Ensis right away. You know, maybe they collected a few of the fragments on the way, which would have been... Realistically, if they just went straight there, you'd be Blessing level, what, 2? And if you got to Rolana at Blessing level 2, you are going to get smoked. I'm kind of not sure if I should go Warrior Jar. And I almost think that's by design. Is what I was talking about that earlier. But I genuinely think that they wanted you to get stuck and then have to go and explore. Get more fragments. A little awkward at the end.
Extraordinary. The mark of a true
Definitely cleaner fight that time. Like, just the last time we fought her, she just... I don't even know if she gave us a single charged R2 opening. She was kind of trolling last time and then whipped out the clone move, but this time was more, like, decent RNG. Yeah, I honestly, when I saw that I didn't have FP left and I cast it, I was like, oh, shit. And before, some, you know, some meme happens here. It actually had 60% during release. Now it's at 70%. Wait, is that actually what it's at? 69.69%? Is that a meme or is that real? And then what's the base game at? Because I remember the base game was also getting some like bad reviews because of performance, which is the classic FromSoft, right? Because their games run like shit. But what's the player rating for base game? 92? Is that really what's at? I 100% agree with those ratings though. Like 92 for base game is maybe like kind of high, but I'm on board with that. 70% for DLC. I'm personally not too far off of that. Like I would maybe go a little higher, but yeah, I won't disagree. I do think the DLC is pretty good. I also think it does have some of the best Elden Ring boss fights in it. But what else? Like, that's kind of the question, because boss fights are... I'll say they're a rather big part of the game, but they're not the only thing in the game. Like, are the dungeons better? Like the main dungeons better? I don't think so. I think the side dungeons are better, for sure. The catacombs in the DLC are pretty nice, I think. Like, are the optional bosses better? Probably not. Probably about the same. I mean, well, nah, maybe they're better, dude. You don't... Well, no, but then you have the NPCs. Tough to say on that one. I'm gonna say a bit of both, but I think where the biggest downgrade from the base game to the DLC, in my opinion, is the actual open world itself and the exploration of the open world, I think was the biggest downgrade. Looks really cool, but not a lot of substance. You got the finger ruins, you got like Charo's hidden cave, and like Cerulean Coast. They look cool, but what is there? What is actually there? NPC bosses is the answer to that. Okay, we're gonna go get the shackle for this. But yeah, I do think some of the bosses are really good. I don't think the areas are bad. I think Shadowkeep is all right. I have like a little... One thing I don't like about Shadowkeep is the back section versus the main gate thing. Because you're kind of... If you're going to do at least all the bosses, all the remembrances in the DLC, you got to go both ways. Unless you do a skip, which I just think is kind of weird. I don't like that you can kind of just skip it all. Also. Like, Letta is not technically a boss, but it functions as a boss, and it's worse than all the rest of them, pretty much. Probably. Because at least with them, we can... I mean, there are NPC killers too, I guess, but... I don't know. They're both shit, to be fair. Or Dane, or Ancient Dragon Man, or Rakshasa, or... whoever else there is. Yeah, the reviews are kind of in line, I guess. Dude, if this turns into the run, and this is in the video, this is going to be a very controversial one, dude. It's not like I haven't talked about this 10,000 times before. My opinion on the DLC, but in like extra critical. Yeah, my opinion has always basically been that the DLC, while being still solid, is a downgrade on the base game. We've also had the discussion of, you know, does it make the overall game worse if some of the content or the DLC to the game is worse in the base game? And I 100% think yes, but people were saying that it doesn't. Like, that adding something to a game can never make it worse, which I 100% disagree with. Okay. So the kill, it's Shackle 3R1, Shackle R2R2, Crouch R1. Everything's correct. Yeah, I think the world layout of the DLC is pretty cool. If executed properly, I think I would have preferred it over the base game's open world layout, maybe. But it's just the actual content of those areas is just so lacking, I think. There's really just not a lot there. So what's the point in even making it an open world in that case? Beautiful damage.
As clear as day.
All right, Radan's already killed, so
Dynasty.
this boss right here is why we're not like fully spec'd into fire. Pretty much, 80% resist, and this is why I also like having Red Wolf killed already. Smeedy, thanks for the brand new Prime sub. But yeah, all that to say, I still really like Elden Ring DLC. I just maybe really like is a little too much, but I still like it. I still enjoy playing through it, all that stuff. But yeah, I feel like I have to say that every time because I just simply talk negatively about it all the time. And it's like, oh man, this guy just hates the DLC. I don't hate it. I do still like it. I like playing through it, but there are things that I don't like for sure. And it's kind of much more so than the base game as well. Base game, there aren't many things that I don't like about it. Well, what the thing with Sekiro is I can't say many bad things about Sekiro. I think the game is extremely well executed. The only problem I have with it is I find the movement is a little janky with the forced dash. The forced dash when you're trying to sprint, I don't like. And I also don't like when you're running and you get caught on a ledge. That's pretty much it. Nothing else. Everything else about the game is pretty much perfect, I would say. Other than like some small little, like maybe the bull is a bad boss and, you know, there's some glitches in the game that would be ideally not there. But for the most part, nothing like that. Nothing major except some of the movement stuff that I don't really prefer. Okay, how will this perform on this boss in Phase 2? You would think it'd be really good. If this was pre-nerf, then we would get the big knockdown on her, which would be great. But this thing did get nerfed, I think, during the DLC update. Damage honestly wasn't that great. Just R2.
Oh, little Rani.
All right, finally, dude. Finally, we're done with this run, man. That's what it should have looked like the first time, but we ended up resetting twice. My lord, dude. Took way longer than it should have with a weapon that's this good.
Where did he flee?
And that one was like actual all great runes as well, because we killed Placidusax. So, or sorry, we killed Rykard. So, actual all great runes. Now we'll continue. Yeah, it is nice that 2 hours is the amount of time it takes for a run like this at this point. But yeah, it's because of the starting graces and stuff, of course. I'm not going for all remember. Wait, was Blasphemous in all remembrances? I don't think so. But no, I'm gonna do Placidusax and then we're gonna head DLC, I think. Honestly, I'm probably just gonna warp straight to each boss because I would rather not spend another 2 hours on this run. Especially since we've done so many Greatswords already. But yeah, I'm just gonna warp to the bosses. But yeah, all Great Runes is definitely a nice length of run to do in this game. I don't know why when I was initially doing no hitting it, I went straight to all remembrances. Like, that kind of seemed like the logical thing to do. But my god, dude, all remembrances take so long. All Great Runes definitely play. Dude, it's like 30 minutes of running for one boss fight. Who's garbage boss. Oh yeah, let's go spend all this time going to unlock Fortisax. Sounds like fun. Why did I do that? Oh. 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 Really, his poise didn't reset. I mean, he does have 160 poise, so it's possible. Not the best phase one I've seen, but not bad. Not bad at all. All right, so this wasn't the cursed run then. They should fly, I think. Right? Oof. Damage getting kind of low. Why do I think they designed this boss to be fought from the ass? I don't know. This is actually kind of one of the not as good Positive attacks we've had, I would say. I mean, surely he's resistant to fire or something. Oh, brother. Nice one. The funny thing with this weapon, though, is that it's pretty much... like, it's pretty much good everywhere in the game. It doesn't matter. Like, even on Moog, it's a solid Moog weapon simply because of how good the Ash of War is for healing. Now, I wouldn't recommend it as the top choice, but if someone just does a playthrough of the game, and I'm talking for casually, of course, you really cannot go wrong with it. Almost. Oh, it's way better for casual play. Like, I was talking about how when people see that I'm doing a Blasphemous Blade no-hit run, it's like, oh man, this run's gonna be so easy. Not really. It's a solid weapon just because it's a greatsword, but there are much better greatsword picks than this for no-hit. Yeah, it's mainly a casual playthrough weapon for the heal, which it's excellent at. I'm very relieved to be done with this run, dude. I feel like this one could have taken a while, or I don't know, just based on, oops, not really where I wanted to be. So kind of didn't want to fight her in the water, but really reaches. I may have been in trouble if there was an uppercut there. Dude, what am I doing, man? What was that? Oh my lord. I was like, oh, I'm gonna Ash of War here, and then I get smoked. The classic throw on Rolana, dude. It's actually the second time I've been hit to her phase transition by just doing dumb stuff. Whoops. Holy fuck, that's scary, dude. What is that? I seem to like getting hit to Rolana's easiest attack, which is the phase transition, dude. That's what I like to get hit by, apparently. I don't think that's safe. Oh. I don't know if a roll attack's fast enough there, man. It seems like it's not. Very rare to get Rolanda phase 2 on these. This type of damage. But that's what I'm saying. Like this weapon isn't like crazy top tier. Okay, I don't think. I was just kind of curious what it looks like on this boss, and that's it. Wait, was I not fast rolling? I was. Yeah, not fast rolling on that boss feels pretty rough. Yeah, I hate Glint Blades too. Yeah, you're 100% you're right. Glint Blades are kind of garbage. Yeah, she was in water. I was trying to fight her out of the water, but I failed. What is happening? Nice to have a weapon with range, because then I can, I think, do that. Oh. And then get this attack that not even a 50-90 can handle. Yeah, it's definitely one of the best weapons in the game on this boss, I would say. Like the Greatsword moveset plus insanely good Ash of War here. Really safe. Plus can use it during all of the like zoning attacks that she has. This is what I was most interested in. But yeah, the rest of the DLC, I don't really care, to be honest. But yeah, very good here. Anyways, I want this weapon finally. Man. And yeah, with the Magma Talisman as well, like, it hits just like a truck there. But yeah, for no hit, the bottom line with this weapon is it's a really good weapon, but for no hit runs, there are much better choices pretty much everywhere. But for casual, when the healing comes into play, it is massive to use that thing. It's very good.